Hello there. As of the filming of this video, it is February 18th. We are in the throes of the Olympics. Canada and Czechia are playing in the men's hockey division today. And last time I looked, Canada was down going into the second period. Fingers crossed on that one. Now, while it would be exciting to see the U.S. and Canada play for gold, they've got to get through Czechia, and the men on the U.S. side have to get through Sweden this afternoon. So let's get into these market stats, okay? There are some great numbers to go over, and it's really fascinating what happened here in 2026. Big theme ideas here. We've got a median sales price that has cleared the $1.5 million start to begin January of 2026, and that is nearly doubling the number from last year in January. We will go over why the reluctant buyer of last year is officially back in the arena and why we are firmly in a seller's market, and there is an update on the mortgage rates as of this morning. So let's talk about the buyer. In 2025, I think we had a solid year. It was a kind of a year that returned normalcy and balance back to the market. But what happened to start 2026? Look at what transpired on the pending side. 50 under contract versus 32 last year. Now that's some Olympic level competition we're dealing with, if I can be so bold as to say that, right? Buyers are back in the arena and looking to purchase properties. Now, if we look at that compared to what transpired on the sold side, you might go, well, Zach, why are the solds down? It's really quite simple. The solds tell us what happened. The pendings tell us what will happen. So if I toggle back here and we look at the end of last year, we sort of saw a dip in the pending sales to wrap up 2025. And that leads to a softer January. Now, I think February and March will tell a different story for us, and they should be really significant upticks in closed sales. And we will definitely keep an eye and keep you posted on those numbers when we get the data next month. Active units. Now we are still locked in at sub 300 active units for sale on the market. So if you're selling your house right now, or you're considering selling your house, you've got more competition than you did in 22 and 23, but you don't have what would be historically a normal balanced market of not a high inventory market, but just a balanced market. So inventory remains at relative historic lows, even though it's up from where it was in the 2022 and 2023 markets. Inventory. January does a shift, right? If we looked at 2025 and we thought we were balanced, 2026 is starting off with the advantage to the seller. Now, what does this mean? This is sort of real estate jargon, if you will. We're sitting at about 5 months supply of inventory. That's down from last year. Good gauges. Anything sub 6 months inventory is an advantage to the seller. Anything in the 6 to 8 month inventory range, that is what would just be a balanced and normal market. Anything above the 8 month timeline is considered a buyer's market. Now, what does that mean again? It means if nothing new came on the market today, if no new listings hit the market, no new residential listings came on, at the rate in which we're selling homes, we would not have a single home for sale in 5 months. And again, that ticks to an advantage to the seller. Now, if we move to days on market, we start to get this contradictory story that might show up, and you might look at this and go, well, explain this to me. How does this make sense? How can we be moving and trending towards a seller's market, but have a days on market increase? And that's where the nuance of the market really does show up, right? We're an expensive market. We're a high-end market, and we are seeing pockets of the market thrive, right? We're seeing certain segments really take off, and those things are turning over quickly. But we're seeing other parts of the market, condos in certain areas, Sun Valley and Elkhorn have been a little bit slower historically here in recent, the last few months. So while we're seeing inventory rise, or not inventory rise, while we're seeing days on market rise for certain things, other things are turning over really quickly. So what does that all mean? Again, if you're selling your house, the buyer is here. Clearly, we can see that from the data on the pending side, but they're savvier than they've ever been, right? It's a buyer who's ready to purchase, but they're not looking for average anymore. They're looking for high value in regards to a finished product, or they're looking for a smart purchase in regards to price. So days on market is on the rise, while we have shifted into a seller's market overall. Now, don't forget, again, nuance, right? Real estate is a micro product. So while we're talking about the Woodward Valley at large here, everything comes down to your location, your actual product, right? We could look at a condo complex that has 50 units in it. If you've got a very nice updated product that is ready to go, that thing might turn over very quickly compared to a outdated model in the same complex. Okay, so everything is micro in real estate. So if you have any questions on how these numbers impact you, by all means, reach out to me. My contact information is at the back here, but I am here to help out where I can, when I can. Let's talk about the mortgage rates. Now, this is something that I think is newsworthy for everybody. Every day I get an email from a company that gives me the 30-year average rate. And today when I opened up that email, it went below 6% for the first time in a long time. And that's newsworthy for everybody, right? There's a psychology, I think, behind the 6% interest rate, the 5% interest rate. So if you've got a 6.5% or 7% interest rate, it might be worth reaching out to a lender to discuss what a refi option could look like for you. We all know that the median price point is higher in the Sun Valley area. So if you've got a 6.5% or 7% interest rate and you can refi that thing down to that 6%, that could mean hundreds of dollars to could be upwards of thousands of dollars of savings for you, and is definitely worth exploring. If you don't have a lender, please reach out to me. I would love to put you in touch with a couple of people that can help you save some money on a monthly basis on your mortgage. Now, the slide we're looking at, guys, I think is just historically interesting, right? The 50-year average sits at just below 8%. The 30-year average sits at right around 6%. So we are back to what would be considered a historically normal interest rate. You can see that there's only a few years coming out of 2008 where we had sub 6% interest rates. So again, we've sort of returned to normal on that front. Now, how do we wrap all of this up, right? Let's just say the market is resilient. 1 month of data does not make a decade, but it certainly sets the tone for a high velocity 2026. If you're looking to secure a property in the Sun Valley area, I would love to help navigate that with you and talk about what your goals look like. And if you're looking to trade your property, let's talk about strategy and how you can take advantage of what's going on in the market right now. My name is Zak Greenawalt with Dryfly Collective Real Estate at Keller Williams, Sun Valley, Southern Idaho. I'm here to guide you on your real estate journey. Thank you so much for paying attention in this episode, and I'll catch you on the next one.